Good day and welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob and I want to welcome you. Thanks for joining me today. In our most recent exercise here, we introduced this idea of what I call bubble mapping. And that's what we did is we took a stressful situation. We used an emotion map just basically to break down that stressful situation into various automatic thoughts that were associated with it. You might remember, had you identify an emotion or a situation and draw it inside of a circle, and then outside the circle, list these automatic thoughts that popped up around that. And then I ask you to take the most troubling of those thoughts, put it in a bubble, hence bubble mapping, and to microanalyze that thought for, in particular, any inner requirements that you place on your experience or on external reality around that particular thought. It must be this way or else. That's a lot to do, right? Actually, what I want to say this, it is a lot to do to break down thoughts in this level of detail. But I want to say this also, is that the work that we put into breaking down or analyzing our feelings and our thoughts around distressful circumstances like the ones that you picked for this exercise, I do believe that this energy pays us back richly. One way to think about it, I was reading last night an article by a film director, Werner Herzog, and he was talking about this. If we slow down the film, so to speak, of our lives to a single frame at a time, I think we begin to realize that any huge monolithic problem actually is made up of lots of different little smaller parts. And while that monolithic problem may not feel like something that we can do much about, the individual parts, they actually may be much more open to our influence. And so the analysis or the breaking down of a situation can be very useful this way. It takes something that feels overwhelming and impenetrable and makes it more accessible and maybe more manipulable. Remember now, our primary goal here in this current series is to train resilient experience skills. I do believe that resilient skills are our #1 asset in conquering the devil. You go, what? That's right, you heard me. I said the devil. Grab some water here real quickly. Though I'm not a religious person, at least in any conventional sense, that's for sure, I do believe there is a devil, and I believe that devil is addiction. Think about this for just a second. Remember that the word addiction comes from the Latin root addictus, which simply means slave. So addiction means enslavement in its root understanding. And I do believe that the devil of addiction enslaves us, body, mind, and spirit. And what does anybody want who's been enslaved? What's the pearl of great price? Well, you know that as well as I. We all want to be freed from slavery of any kind, including the slavery of addiction. And that addiction might be to substances and or other behaviors, or even self-defeating attitudes like fear or resentment. We want to be freed of all of these things. So for today, let me ask you to do something. Can you simply list a half a dozen ways in which you have felt enslaved? What was it that contributed to that enslavement? Write that down. So list a half a dozen different ways you felt burdened by addiction, by enslavement to substances, behaviors, attitudes. Write down a brief sentence or description after each one of those. What was it that you see as contributing to that particular form of enslavement? And what is it you want to do to get free, and probably more important, to stay free? Once you complete your list, I want you to give yourself a special present. I want you to take no more than 5 minutes just to practice mindfulness of the breath or whatever other way you do to relax your body and mind. 5 minutes. And allow yourself to simply breathe in how good it feels to imagine being free. See if you can taste it, okay? Good luck with this exercise. We'll be coming back for more as we expand on this topic of resilient experience skills training, or REST. I wish you a restful day. Thanks for joining me. Come back and join me again soon.